Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a beginner spine mobility just to kind of warm up and get a little bit loose. This is more passive mobility, so make sure you follow it up with some active mobility and some strengthening as well, but this can get the ball rolling. We are going to be doing 3 rounds, 5 exercises, and I'll go ahead and review those before we jump right into the follow along part. We are going to be starting with open book, so you're going to be laying on your side. This works some of the rotation. Your bottom leg is going to be straight, your top leg is going to be bent on the ground. Arms are going to be out in front of you, and then you're going to twist and you're going to look back at your hand rotating through the spine. Notice how my hip wants to pop up or my knee wants to pop up. You're going to hold this knee down to get a little bit more of a stretch. You're in control about how far you go with it. If with your arm straight, it's going to be a little bit more of a stretch. You can also bend the elbow and do more of a bow and arrow if it's a little bit too much. And again, you're in control about how far you go. So I'll show you on the other side here. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, arm, and then you're twisting back and opening up the chest. You're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch in the front of the chest, the low back, the mid back, and maybe even in the hip, depending on where you're tight. Then we're gonna do the cat camels. So you are going to be on your hands and your knees. Your shoulders are gonna be directly over top of your hands and your hips are directly over top of your knees. And then you're going to round out the back and then drop your chest down to the ground. So we're working the flexion of the spine. You can even bring your chin towards your chest if you want, a little bit more through the upper back, and then dropping the chest down. Make sure you're not just bending the elbows, you're dropping the chest. And you can even pinch the shoulder blades down to get a little bit more of a stretch. And you can shift back or forward depending on where you want. Same thing here. You can shift back to get low back or up to get more upper back, depending on where you're feeling a little bit tight and stiff. And this is also gonna get your core going a little bit more. And then we're going to be doing a child's pose with lat stretch. So starting again in that quadruped position, and then you're dropping back into a child's pose. So hips towards your heels. If you do feel any pinching in the front of the hips, you can always bring the knees apart just slightly. And you're gonna take one hand and you're gonna dive it under. Palm is gonna be up, pausing, and then switching to the other side. Just to loosen up the shoulders. You're gonna feel a good stretch through here. And then we are going to be doing a prone press up. So we're gonna go on your stomach, legs are together, and then you're just pressing up, keeping the hips down. So not coming up here. If you want, you can even just go up onto your elbows and then back down. So we're working more extension. To get a little bit more active motion versus passive motion, you can use your arms only as much as you need, or if you want a little bit more passive, you can just use your arms. But it's gonna look the same. It's just gonna feel a little bit different if you're actively pushing up and then assisting with your arms. And then we're gonna do a lower trunk rotation, so we're flipping onto your back. Shoulders are staying on the ground and you're just rocking the knees from side to side. Keeping your feet together is gonna work the back a little bit more, or if you want to work the hip rotation, you can bring your feet about hip width apart, and that's gonna work the hips a little bit more. If you wanna engage your core a little bit more, you can push your low back into the ground as you pull up to work the rotation there. So essentially we're doing 3 rounds of this. We're doing 5 reps of each, except for the lower trunk rotations where we're doing 8. So it's going to be 5 open books, 5 cat camels, 5 child's pose with lat stretch, 5 prone press ups, and then 8 lower trunk rotations. So let's go ahead and get started with the open books. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, arms are out in front of you or grabbing your knee, and then you're twisting and looking back. We're doing 5. That's 1, 2, you're in control about how far you go with it. 3, 4, 5. Good. Switching over to the other side. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent. And you can use a pillow if you want to rest the head on something as well. That's 1, 2, you're in control about how far back you go. 3, and you can always breathe out on the way back. 4, last 1, 5. Good. Go ahead and relax there. Going onto your hands and your knees for the cat camels. So flipping over, shoulders are directly over top of your hands, hips are directly over top of your knees, rounding up, engaging the core, and then dropping your chest down. That's 1. Elbows are straight with this one. 2. 3. 4. Last one. 5. Sitting the hips back onto your heels. You can bring your knees apart if you need. Starting in a child's pose, going into the lat stretch. We're doing 5 on each side. Pausing, and then switching. Getting a good stretch through the shoulders, through the low back, through the hips. That's 1. You can go up onto your fingertips if you want a little bit more of a stretch, or you can keep your hand on the ground. Switching to the other side. And 2. And switching, keeping the hips down. That's 3. Switching. That's 4. Last one. Switch. Good. Go ahead and relax. Next, we're going to go into the prone press-ups. So laying on your stomach, feet are together. You're in control about how high you go. Hips are staying on the ground though. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Pressing up. Active motion, using the back muscles a little bit more to lift up, or you can use your hands to push up. Going back up, that's 2. 3, shoulders are staying down. 4, make sure your elbows aren't out to the side as you do this. Elbows are in by your side. Going back up, and that's 5. Good. Flipping over onto your back. We're doing the lower trunk rotations. We're doing 8 of these. Shoulders are staying on the ground, feet together for more back, feet apart for more hips. 8 of these. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Down and back up. You can use your core, pushing the low back if you need. 2, 2, 3, 3, exhaling on the way back up. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Good. Going back into round 2, open books next. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, arms are out in front of you. And with all of these, you're in control about how far you go with this. That's 1, working the rotation, loosening up the shoulder, the back, and the hip a little bit. 3, 4, 5, switch to the other side. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, grabbing your top knee, arm is out in front of you, and twisting and looking back at your hand as you go to get a little bit more of a stretch. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Go ahead and relax. On your hands and your knees for the cat camels. Remember, you can shift to the lower back or upper back by rocking back a little bit. 5 of these. 3, 2, 1. Engaging the core as you come up, keeping the arms straight as you go down. That's 1, 2, and dropping down. 3, 4, last one. 5. Good. Go ahead and relax. Going into the child's pose with lat stretch. Ready? Diving your hand underneath, pausing, and then back to the center. And then the other side, pausing there. Palm is up to get a little bit more of a stretch through the lats. That's 1. Remember, you can bring your knees apart if you need. 2, switch. Switch. 3, switch. Switch. 4, switch. Last one. And if you're not able to get all the way down, that's completely fine as well. 5, good. Go ahead and relax. Going into the press-ups next. Feet are together, hips are down on the ground, passively using your hands to push up or more actively engaging the back to lift up, pausing, and then coming back down. That's 1. We're doing 5. 2, shoulders are away from your ears. 3, and you can always go up onto your elbows as well. 4, hips are down. 5. Good. Flipping over onto your back for the lower trunk rotations. Feet together for more back, feet apart for more hips. So we're doing 8. Pushing the back flat into the ground to engage the core if you would like. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. Last one. 8. Other side. 8. Good. Going back into the open books, rolling onto your side, bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent. Going into the last round of these, arm is out in front of you and twisting and looking back. That's 1. 2. Breathing out as you go back. 3. 4. 5. Switch to the other side. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, arm is out in front of you, and switching and looking at your hand as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Onto your hands and your knees. Cat camels. Shoulders are over top of your hands. Hips are over top of your knees, and you're rounding up, engaging the core, and then dropping down, keeping the elbows straight. That's 1. We're doing 5. Going up and down. 2, up, down. 3, up, down. 4, up, down. 5. Good. Child's pose with lat stretch, dropping the hips down towards your heels. You can bring your knees apart if you need. Chest is going down to the ground, taking one arm and diving it under. Palm is up, pausing, and then switching to the other side. Diving under, and then switching back. That's 1. We're doing 5. Switch. Switch. 2. Switch. Switch. 3. Keeping the hips down. Switch. Switch. 4. Last one of these. Switch. Switch. Good. Going into your prone press-ups, using your arms as much as you need, and you can go up onto your elbows. Elbows aren't out to the side, they're in by your sides. 3, 2, 1. Pressing up, feet are together, and coming back down. That's 1. Breathing out on the way up. 2, 3, 4, last one, 5. Good. Flipping over onto your back for the lower trunk rotations next. Feet together for more back, feet apart for more hips. Pushing the low back down into the ground to come back up. And to the other side. That's 1. We're doing 8. And other side, 2. 3. Pushing the back into the ground, and you can breathe out as you come back up. 4. 5. 6. 7. Last one. Shoulders staying down. 8. Good. Go ahead and relax. Nice job, guys, with that little mobility flow. I hope that your mid-back and low back are feeling a little bit looser. If you did like this style of workout, then you might like my anti-sitting mobility program. It works full body mobility, specifically targeting things that are stiff with prolonged sitting. If you want another follow along mobility flow, then go ahead and check out this playlist here. I have upper body mobility and lower body mobility on there as well.